Hello. There we go. How's everybody doing? Yeah? Right on. Mr. Ulrich will be up here soon. Fun story for you guys. I went to, I bet a bunch of you used to go to summer camp, right? The summer camp that I went to would have these themes every week, different theme. And so right at the age of becoming like a counselor in training, the last like camper experience, I was so excited for Scream Week. So it was like right after Scream 1, right? And we're like, holy smokes, they're going to scare us at summer camp. They're going to scare us at summer camp. This is going to be awesome. So we go to the week, and our little cabin group of friends are sitting down to dinner, and we notice that like the two camp directors are having this huge fight outside. Papers are thrown everywhere, like a spectacle for kids to see at summer camp especially. And they tell us after this fight that too many parents have been calling, we can't do Scream Week anymore. So we're going to think of a new theme to make it special for you guys. So like, please, like, we didn't have cell phones, but they were like, don't try to get a hold of your parents or whatever. And so we, as the oldest group, we have to wait until the end of the day. And we show up to the event and they tell us, hey, it's Pocahontas. And so the room is like all done up like this forest, and we're waiting our turn to do the experience. And because we're the oldest, we go last. So we had to watch Pocahontas like 2.5 times. We weren't allowed to leave. They just rewound the VHS. And we sat through that movie 2.5 times before we go. And we're literally holding up a cardboard canoe, and we're sailing down an imaginary river with Pocahontas and Miko. And we stop, and there's a tree, and they're like, you have to find us spruce leaves to continue this journey. And we're like, we don't know what the hell spruce is. Like, leave us alone. And so they tie up Miko to a rope, and someone pulls the rope to make him look like he's scampering away. And Pocahontas like goes to get Miko. Miko, come back, Miko. And all of a sudden, we just hear this most cinematic, gut-clenching, blood-curdling scream. And just an Evil Dead amount of blood comes down this hill. And then Ghostface appears at the top of the hill and wipes his knife off, points to us, and runs into the woods. And the guy who was like in charge of our group, because we were the oldest, was the camp director. And he just had the biggest, like, had seen a ghost look on his face, and he's like, that's not supposed to happen. And he's like, I don't know what we're supposed to do. Like, what do we do? That's not supposed to happen. And we're 13-year-old boys, stupid boys at the time, and we were just like, holy shit, this is the coolest thing ever. And I think that, I mean, I'm sure like Friday the 13th would have had the same effect. Halloween probably not, because we were in the middle of the woods. But for late 90s, 98, to be a teenager at that time with Scream was something pretty freaking rad to have lived through, right? Yeah. This guy also has just come to light a lot because, do we have any Five Nights at Freddy's fans here? Yeah. So getting to see Henry Emily, that represented in a cinematic aspect, is pretty cool and encouraging for the future, whatever they decide to do with it. I was pretty stoked that we got 2 of them, to be honest with you. That's a pretty big accomplishment for it to get the theatrical release on a property so niche as Five Nights is rad to see. Anybody get anything cool, souvenir-wise? Pick up any of like the cool masks or props, anything like that so far? You got a bag full of posters there. I'm imagining you had Alex and Christine sign. Oh, yeah. And you got Skeet right on. Very cool. Very cool. Everybody stoked with Scream 7? We all have seen Scream 7 at this point? Damn, a lot of this, huh? Like, wave, wow. Wow. All right. Scream 5? 6? Oh, 6. Okay. 3, 4, 1. Uh-huh. 2. Anybody think Stu was actually alive? Yes. Wow. Okay. Your hatred because he was an AI algorithm instead? Wow. Oh. I want to know where the tests, like, yeah, like, who do we pick? How do we pick these people? Like, obviously it's like a major city, like LA, San Fran, something, but like, how are you picking these people to see this movie? So like a Price is Right situation where they're just lined up, or are they just a random? How did you get that spot? Mm-hmm. And you just showed up. Okay. Was this at a studio or a regular movie theater? Regular movie theater. Okay. What was the movie? Huh. So this is a major thing, huh? Okay. All right. It was bad. So did you get like a Q&A after, like a survey thing that you filled out? Did you put that this was shitty? Thank you for the experience, but this sucks. Did they have like a spot that, if it sucks, tell us why? Okay. Yeah. Just waiting for him to show up. Did anybody meet anybody else like cool so far that they're super excited for? They saw on the Palm Greer. Was anybody in here for her panel yesterday? Jesus Christ. That was Oscar money. Shoving that zucchini in her pants. Oscar money. Check this out, Mr. Carpenter. Escape from this office. Shit. How about, so you guys have all heard the news that we're kind of taking a break for October, right? Okay, so we'll be back bigger than ever for, like, this was honestly thank you guys, because all weekend this room has been the fullest consistently. We were talking about this last night at dinner, that you guys have stuck around the panel room more consistently this weekend than I think any before. So thank you guys for coming and listening. If you didn't know, we're the Horrific Network, so we've been doing the production for Sinister for about 15 years now, and you can hear all of the past Sinister interviews as well as the one we're about to have on that channel as kind of an archive. But you guys, for every reason that we've been talking about, we are so excited to have Mr. Skeet Ulrich with us today.
There. Hello, everybody. This looks like a church. Jesus Christ. No. Thank you for coming. Thank you for all the love and support and for being here. It means so much to all of us who come here to see the love that you give to each other, to bring your families out, to make it an experience for yourselves, and I'm always trying to share the love back with you. So thank you very much for being here. Appreciate you all, and hopefully we can do this again someday.
Mm-hmm. I was going to say, take a seat, or I'll stand up to even out with you.
Whichever you like.
Yeah. Well, man, you pretty much answered my first question. We're so happy to have you, and glad you're having a fun time this weekend at Sinister.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. It's one of the smaller cons we go to, but it makes it much more intimate, and you get to really take time with people. So thank you for welcoming me.
Right on. We were talking about just the being a teen when Scream came out was a pretty special experience, akin to what I would imagine it would have been to be a teen like when Halloween or the original Friday the 13th came out. But your filmography, man, like some of the stuff that you have been attached to over your career is really rad, because you have dove into like multiple fandoms, and you could even say with Jericho, it was like really the first fans are writing in to get that show to have the second season.
Yeah,
so,
that was the first show brought back from cancellation in 26 years at that point.
Yeah.
And it was all because of the fans, and they deluged CBS's headquarters with nuts, like 30-some tons of peanuts based on the line in the finale, and then they jammed their phone lines to the point they couldn't even use them. So they were finally like, oh, yeah, we need to do something about this.
It's cool that the fans were able to do that then, because it definitely has like transitioned to the now to like let people kind of know that, hey, when you really stand up for something you want to see, like people do listen, and it can happen. So that it
meant a lot. I mean, it was such a great family of people that we had created. When you do a show like that, that's 22 episodes on network TV, it's 10 months of 90-hour weeks.
I think another prime example, especially for this room, is the fans of Scream, man.
Yeah,
because the people wanted to see Billy Loomis again.
Yeah.
So to see you return to that franchise was something very special. Just so happens that the first time you show back up is in a movie where the killer is from our hometown, which it seems like Modesto always gets this shit, like, but like, why did they pick Modesto? Damn, but
I wish I knew. You'd have to ask Kevin.
But it was really cool to see you as Billy again, and then it's for a couple movies at least, pass that on to the next Loomis generation. But overall, man, when Scream first came out and you first get cast as Billy Loomis, most of the people I interview when they make the first one, they're always like, we didn't know it was going to turn into this huge thing. But did you guys get any kind of an inkling making a slasher movie in that year? Kind of knowing the slasher reputation, Michael, Freddy, and everything, you're creating this new character, Ghostface. Did you on set at all with Wes? Any inclination this is about to be the next big, huge thing?
Quite the opposite, to be honest.
Yeah.
At that time, TV stars didn't transition into films, and Courtney was on Friends, obviously. There was a lot of Wes had not had a hit for a little while. Mm-hmm. It was just something, we loved the material, and we all, jumped in and had no idea what it would be. And in fact, after they shot the first 2 weeks, which is all the Drew Barrymore sequence at the beginning, Miramax, who produced it, shut down production. They were like, we don't get it. We're not going to make this movie. And Wes, this was pre-digital, so cut the scene together on film and rushed it to New York. And they saw what he was doing editing-wise, and they were like, oh, we get it now. Like, keep going. So we had no idea that we would even, make a splash, let alone 30 years later be sitting here and still talking about it.
For sure.
Yeah.
And, the opposite side of that, let me ask you this then. When you guys are making the original, creating these characters, the best friends I have in my life are the friends that I make independent movies with. What was the environment when you guys are making that? Because it seems like the more fun we have is when, blood and guts and all this stuff, and you call cut and you guys are laughing and bullshitting and everything else. Like, what was it like just to be a group of young actors making this movie together?
It was a lot of fun, and we were in Napa Valley, so, and we were in our 20s, and David Arquette built a bar in his room, and we would shoot mostly nights, so we would get off work at like 6 a.m., and still covered in a little bit of blood that wouldn't wipe off, and go get drunk in David's room and hang out and get to know each other, and those are the things I remember. On set, though, we were all very, very focused. And, I don't really remember many bloopers other than accidentally hitting Matt with the phone, which became not a blooper. The thing you don't realize is you got to do that 30 more times.
Yeah.
So, different 6 takes this angle, 6 takes that, or whatever it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was, obviously, Courtney and David, wound up being together for a very, very long time because of the movie. Nev and Matt dated for a while after the movie. It was, there was a lot of love between everybody, but as Matt likes to say, he was doing his first movie, Serial Mom, and the lead actress on that, he was like, the vibe you always think is like, oh my God, we're really connected. We're going to be friends for life,
Sure.
And you go different directions. The filming stops, and, no matter how many months you spent together, how close you got, how much you bonded,
Life happens.
he's going to Australia, I'm going to wherever, you go different directions. And Kathleen Turner told him in Serial Mom, she was like, making a movie is like a marriage with a built-in divorce.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
It has its end, unfortunately. Matt and I are still friends, but we're both still busy. He did come over last Sunday with his wife. I had a barbecue, but that's one of the rare times, to be honest, outside of
Work.
conventions that, we get to spend any time together.
You guys, I could sit here and talk to you about Scream all day. I could talk to you about Jericho, all this stuff. I want to make sure we get all your guys' in the rooms questions, opportunities as well. But one thing, you mentioned Matt. As a true nerd, I got to tell you that it was really rad to see you guys come back together as William Afton, Henry Emily, under that same franchise. Five Nights was this game. It's cool when you start playing that game and you dig a little research as to who is Scott Cawthorn and how did he come up with these ideas, and to kind of read about him and where he was developing these games that weren't making it, and then he finally lands on Five Nights, kind of like jumps into horror from a different genre, makes Five Nights at Freddy's, and it becomes like the most downloaded app game of all time. I think it's close to it. And then that stems into the movies.
Yeah.
To see you and Matt come back together to do those two characters. Now, spoiler alert, there's no scene together yet that we know about, but that is really rad, man, that you guys get to come back under the same banner.
Yeah, Scott approached Matt because he had a list of actors, and it was like 10 people or something, and Matt was one of them, and he was at dinner with his family and brought up the names, and one of his family members said, "Oh my God, Matt Lillard, like, you know, I saw him at this convention in Dallas, and like, you know, he stayed for 2 hours after because you know, to keep so everybody could get what they wanted, and so it moved Matt to the top of the list, you know, because you know, he knew that he was a people person and he was going to be fun to work with, and you know, he's a great guy. So, and then, you know, he heard I had the same thing going on, and because Matt and I do most of these together and have the same mentality about them. So they approached me, and I had seen Matt's excitement over the franchise and learned a lot about it and how big the fan base was, and then I started poking into the lore of Henry Emily. Yeah. And I was fascinated. So they asked me to do it, and I was like, absolutely, on the call. I was like, yes, I'm in. Apparently the third one, and it's all rumors at the moment, but is a lot of William and Henry.
That would be cool.
So we'll see. I mean, we shot in New Orleans. Both films shot in New Orleans, and Matt and I were not even in New Orleans at the same time. So yeah, we're in a franchise together, but we haven't spent a moment together in that franchise other than at things like this or a premiere or something like that. But you know, they're writing the third one right now. I don't know when we'll shoot it, maybe late this year, early next year. Yeah. But it's pretty wild. Josh Hutcherson told me a story that when he was announced in, you know, to be a part of the franchise, he was in Brazil, and within an hour of that announcement, like everybody on the streets, he was like, we're coming up, like, oh my God, you're doing 5 nights. So like, that's how much of a global sensation that franchise is and that game is.
And that story, with you're mentioning you guys having a lot of screen time in 3, hypothetically, the story, you know, with Henry and Springtrap is one that is pretty legendary. I mean, he kills, spoiler alert, William kills Charlotte, and it's this like, it's almost, you know, Star Wars-etic, like this, you know, relationship of Jedi, Obi-Wan.
For those of you who don't know, Charlotte is Henry Emily's daughter.
Yeah.
Matt killed my daughter. Motherfucker.
Which is actually.
I'll get back at him.
Yeah. But to have that on the table, to what, you know, hypothetically, in a fan's mind, having that play out with you two is going to be really cool, man.
Yeah, I mean, I hesitate to bring it up because you never know what goes down on the paper, and I mean, there's a chance I'm not even in the movie, you know, once they write it. So I mean, I have a deal to do one, but they don't necessarily have to make that happen. So I don't know. It's all, like you said, it's hypothetical at the moment, but we'll see. Yeah.
Who wants to be first question for Skeet? We can go. Do you got a question?
Do you want me to come bring a microphone so that we can hear you? Who's got the question? You have a question? I'll come to you. Well, he's loud enough. He doesn't even louder than my microphone.
How you doing, boss? My question was, you had mentioned Jericho, but you did a show I really loved called Law and Order Los Angeles, and then they took you off it, and then everything went down in flames, and I was just wondering, what the hell happened, bro?
Thank you for bringing that up. It was, you know, they had just canceled the Law and Order franchise, the 20-year, the mothership, and this was set to be their next piece, and while we were filming, NBC was bought by Comcast, and so they fired all the execs, all the head of NBC, everything, and brought in new people, and that took about 2 or 3 months. And then when the new guy got in his position, he wanted to put his stamp on the show and decided to get rid of 4 of us. But yeah, to your point, like, so yeah, no, I mean, it was frustrating. It was probably the most difficult job I've ever had. It was, they have such a formula which clearly works. It's been successful for ever now in one franchise or another of theirs. But it's a formula, and they had rules. My partner Corey Stoll, who played the other detective, they had a rule: we could not touch each other. So we could solve the biggest case, couldn't high five, couldn't fist bump, couldn't nothing. Don't touch each other. I know, it was just these formulas they have. So it was kind of very creatively stifling, that job, and I was, they had to pay me for the whole season anyway. So. I had lots of weeks of free money. Thank you, brother. Thank you. Oh, yeah.
So my wife says, I'm going to Five Nights at Freddy. And I say, enjoy the movie. And she says, what movie?
That's funny. I like it. Who else? I see you raising your hand. You have a question?
What's your favorite vampire movie?
Ooh, my favorite vampire movie. Lost Boys, I think. Yeah, Alex is such a sweetheart. Have you guys spent time with him this weekend? Gotten to meet him? I had worked with, long after Lost Boys, I made a movie with Kiefer Sutherland, and Jason Patrick has become a friend. He's such a sweetheart of a guy. So I love that movie. I love Twilight too, which I guess is, yeah. What's that? Edward. I made Catherine Hardwicke's next movie, which is going to come out at some point this year. She's a great director, and she was like a production designer for years. I did a movie called The Newton Boys with Matthew McConaughey, and thank you, and Ethan Hawke and Vince D'Onofrio, and she designed all the sets. So she was doing that and then transitioned into being a director, and she's very brilliant. So hard to pick, Lost Boys or Twilight. Let me come back here. Hi. How are you, honey? Good to see you.
My question is, would you ever consider a Scream remake like of the original?
Oh, would I consider it?
Yes.
I'm a little old for it now. I mean, if they want to do like Scream and like somebody in their 50s, sure, I'm down.
Thank you for saying Lost Boys is your favorite, because I'm right here.
I'm glad you like it. All right, brother. You ready? What is this hat? Wow. Oh, my God. Did you make it?
I bought it here.
Oh, you did? Yeah. Wow. Very cool.
So, do you have any favorite memories of working with Wes specifically, or if not, just at all in the first film that you just think about often?
The first one, just his way. He had a softness and he had a psychological perspective on everything. So all his insights were character-driven, not result-driven. And he helped you dive deeper into why is this moment important? Why is this one? Why do we throw this moment away? So he had a way of working that was just, he loved us, he believed in us, and he was so supportive, and he had great advice. And I did another movie with him, which I'm not actually in, called Cursed, because we had a debacle of a production, and at that point, I've had open heart surgery. He had, after Scream, had open heart surgery. I built furniture in my spare time, and he became a passion of his. So on Cursed, we talked about life and, hobbies and all kinds of stuff. And that was a more, I guess, connected experience than Scream. But Scream, the work, was really, where he shines. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, thank you. I like your hat, as you know. Over there? All right. This better be good. That was a long walk.
What is a moment in your career that you're the most proud of? One of the moments in your career.
I grew up like fans of actors, obviously, and I'm still fans of actors, but there were, one of them that I just idolized was Gary Oldman. And he's just such a unique talent. And like, not long after Scream, about a year after Scream, I had made Newton Boys, and then I was driving to New York and stopped in Virginia and bought a 500-acre farm, which was cheap, believe it or not, and I lived there. I didn't have to be in LA, so I lived there, and one day the house phone rang, and I pick up the phone, hello, and he's like, "Hey, mate, it's me, Gary Oldman," and I was like, bullshit. I was like, who is this? Like, he's like, "No, man, it's me. Really, it's me." And he wanted me to star in a movie with him that, you know, he was going to do and he was producing, called Nobody's Baby, if anybody's seen it. And he was shooting a movie called The Contender in Richmond, which was very close to my farm, like an hour drive. So he was like, "Come down to set," you know, and that movie he was nominated for an Oscar for, and was this, you know, New Englander lawyer, curly hair, and like, so I went and had lunch with that guy, and then we went to shoot the movie in Utah, and this completely other dude showed up, because he's just that brilliant. But I think getting that call from one of my heroes was like one of the highlights of my career for sure. Yeah, thank you. Great question. You did good.
I was nervous.
No, you're fine. You want one?
One simple question. Do you think Stu's live?
I think I believe whatever Matt says, and yes. I mean, he talks about being willing to have somebody drop a TV on his head and show that he can survive. But I did stab him a lot, so I don't know. But yeah, why'd you cut me so deep? Yeah, I think he's alive, though. I hope so, anyway. Yeah.
Just wanted to know, what kind of furniture do you like to make?
Ooh, I make a lot of different stuff. I make it for family and friends, and I made my girlfriend a dining table a few months ago. I've built beds, I've built armoires, I've built credenzas and side tables and chairs, and I have a full. You cannot park in my garage. Yeah, the table saw gets right in the way. Yeah, it's. I like all kinds of stuff, but I do what's called heirloom quality furniture, which is, you know, mortise and tenons and hip joints and dovetails and.
I've only read about. I don't have the space for the machines.
You don't have to have machines to do those.
It helps though.
Yeah, it does help. It does help. It does help. But yeah, all kinds of stuff. Yeah. Are you build as well?
Cosplay, crafter, a little bit of this, a little bit of that.
Very cool.
Do I know how to do this? No, I'm going to do it anyway.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's me in furniture. I just dove in. I mean, you have to build the shop, and that teaches you a lot. That was my training. I never studied anywhere. I just read about it and. Nice, nice. Well, thank you. Thank you for being here. All right, brother, you ready? All right. He's ready. Do you see that? This is going to be a good one.
Out of your career, who was like, out of all the characters you were, who was the hardest to get in character for? And who was the hardest to break character once filming was over?
Has anybody seen the Elizabeth Smart movie that I did? I don't know if you know about her. For those of you who don't, it was about a guy, a true story about a man who believed he was the next Messiah and kidnapped a 14-year-old and moved her up into the mountains outside of Salt Lake City and did horrific things to her day in and day out. It was difficult. It took me a couple of weeks to decide that I would play that part. But as I was like deciding, I figured that the notion behind the whole story is how, for some people, religion can save their lives. Like, her belief is why she's still alive today. She had faith, she believed in it, you know, and this guy perverted religion for, you know, nefarious means. And so the collision of those two, I thought, really offered something to the world, to see like the duplicity of religion. And then I was like, okay, I can handle playing the bad guy, to make that theme prevalent. But I did have, it was hard to, I had his 300-page psych eval, because it was 5 years before they decided whether he was sane or insane. And so I had all that. I had the book that she had written. I had our script and internet and everything, and just all the research and all that. And I wore this, because he had long hair and a long beard. I wore a wig and like prosthetics and stuff. And I got done filming, and I had this dream that I had a hair stuck in my mouth. And I pulled it out, and it became 5, and then 10, and then 100, and then 1,000 piece of hair. And he wore a rope necklace with the key to the padlock that chained her to the tree. And the hair then turned into this rope necklace, and when it got stuck, and in the dream I pulled it out, and it was a pulsating black heart. And it terrified me until I realized, oh, I just let him go. I got rid of him. But it's the only time in my career I've experienced something like that. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for your question. I see you guys up here. I'll stop here first.
What's your favorite movie you've been in and why?
I did a movie called Ride with the Devil with a legendary director named Ang Lee, who's done everything from Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon to, he's just a brilliant filmmaker. He's been nominated for 6 Oscars, and we did a Civil War movie together, Tobey Maguire and I, and we spent 7 months on horseback. So that was a blast. That one I remember, yeah, that's probably my favorite filming experience. We had like a month of prep. I was living on that farm in Virginia. He sent 2 horses to my farm for me to ride and pick which horse I wanted to ride in the movie. And I don't know, it's just such a great experience. Yeah, thank you. Yes.
My friend wants to know,
Sounds like one of those jokes.
yeah, what was your favorite and least favorite scene in Riverdale?
My favorite scene was when Jughead came to visit FP in prison, and FP is basically brushing him off. Go away, I don't want to be around you. And it was my favorite because it was early enough in production that Cole and I had, I love him, by the way. Like, he's become a dear friend who's a dear friend to my kids. Like, he's just a great human being, wickedly smart, brilliant. And, we had work, and he has to cry in that scene and all, and we really worked on it together off camera to get it right. And so that was my favorite. My least favorite was, honestly, reenacting Luke Perry's death. That was horrific when, he died, and then a few months later, and everybody grieved, obviously, and was really shattered by it. And then a few months later, we had to go do a funeral for his character, and, there was not a dry eye all day long. It's horrible. Yeah, you're welcome. Yes.
So I know you worked with Matthew a lot, but how was it working with Nev before Scream when you were with The Craft? Did you get to be with her a lot?
We didn't have any one-on-one scenes together, but we were definitely in the same scenes. But I don't remember us overly connecting. My relationship was with Robin Tunney's character, and we had a lot together. And I had known Robin for years prior to that. I remember Nev. I think she was just pretty much in character. She was very quiet and and then so Scream really was just incredible. The dynamic range she has as an actor, and The Craft came out while we were making Scream and opened #1, and we celebrated. Let's say, whoa, way back there! Oh my God. Don't you know how old I am? Man. All right.
Did you like face any challenges while you were filming the Scream series, or do you feel like playing the character, especially the killer, like did it come natural to you?
It did not come natural. The movie I made right before Scream, I don't know if anybody's seen it. It's called Touch. I played the second coming of Christ in modern day LA, who would heal people. He'd get stigmata and heal people, and he was the sweetest human being I've ever read. And I spent, I don't know, like 5 or 6 weeks with the Jesuit mission in LA around all these monks to find his inner peace, because I was an angsty, angry kid at the time. I think I was 25. And so literally 2 weeks after finishing, maybe not even 2 weeks after finishing that part, I had to play Billy Loomis, who was the polar opposite of this guy. And so I went to, we got to Santa Rosa, and I had a hotel room that had a connected living room, TV space, and all that, a suite, I guess you would say. And I went to the mall because I was 26, I guess, at that time, and playing a 17, 18-year-old. So I went to the mall and I bought all the rock posters I could find and black lights, and like I got all the Faces of Death VHSs, and I made that living room into Billy Loomis's room. And so it was a way to quickly like surround myself with everything that felt not only teen but evil. And I would just sit in there and like, you know, I've never learned lines with anybody else in my career. I record, you know, on a tape recorder. I record the other person's lines and leave space for mine, and I just go over the work that way until I know it backwards and forwards. And so that's what I sat in that room and I would learn the scenes. But yeah, that was challenging. And then many years later, coming back to 5 and 6, I didn't agree to do it for a little while because I didn't know how they were going to make me look 26 again. So that was a challenge. And then it was just sort of like finding his voice, that timbre of his voice. But yeah, that's your answer. You got a good question? Uh-oh, you could ask both.
My first question is, what did you think of Scary Movie's version of your character, Billy Loomis?
I don't remember the movie. I know I saw it many, many years ago when it came out, but I don't really remember it, so no comment.
Okay, and my second one is, as a horror icon, what is your favorite scary movie?
Forever it was The Exorcism of Emily Rose, which just terrified me, and it's a true story. And then more recently, I saw a movie called When Evil Lurks, which is riveting. A lot of you have seen it? Yeah. I mean, it's worth the subtitles. That movie is crazy good. So that one. You got a question?
I have a curiosity question. Did you keep anything from the Riverdale set?
I kept FP's jacket. Yeah. Which is kind of an interesting story in itself because Casey, who played Kevin in the show, well, the guy who made my coat and Cole's coat makes jackets for the Hells Angels, for like he's a big time like, you know, leather jacket maker, and so he only made 2. He made one for me and one for Cole, and then the rest were sort of made by wardrobe department and stuff like that. But Casey Cott wound up at that time dating this guy's daughter. They met at a gym in Vancouver, started dating. Now they're married and have children together. but pretty wild. Yeah. I kept that. That's all I kept. Usually you can't keep stuff because, you know, if they, I mean, that one I knew, like, that's mine. They're not, I didn't even ask them. I was like, I'm taking it, just so you know. And it's hanging in my closet. But usually you don't take stuff because they have to catalog it in case you have to come back and do reshoots and, you know. I doubt he wanted to keep the beanies. But maybe. What you got, brother?
Me and my brother, as independent filmmakers, what separates a good director from a great director?
I think it's the way you use the camera, first of all. Like all the greats I've worked with know that you have to live in a two-shot or a wide. That's where the chemistry between the characters exists. So if I'm shooting you two the way you just stood up, but if I'm doing it in singles, like you don't get how your body reacted to his when he moved towards you, or how. So they know how to really tell a story and trust their actors to physicalize the story, you know. And you know, I think they also know how to evoke a performance. Like Ang Lee did this thing to me in the movie I was telling her about, Ride with the Devil, where I was playing like the most confident, he was the son of a plantation owner, wealthy, like confident, cocky guy, and I had never played a part like that. And I didn't audition for it, it was offered to me, so he had never, you know, didn't know if I could pull it off or not. And about 3 days into filming, he's like, could you come to my trailer at lunch? And I was like, oh, am I like getting fired? Like, what's going on? And I go to his trailer and he's like, I got to tell you, like, and he's worked with Anthony Hopkins, he's worked with Emma Thompson, he's worked with everybody. And he was like, you are one of the best actors I've ever worked with. Like, I don't know how you do it. Like, it's just always blah, blah, blah. And he was like, and Jewel, the singer, played my love interest in the film. And he was like, I'm having a really hard time directing Jewel. Do you think you could help me direct? And I left that trailer like, oh, fuck yeah, Ang Lee wants it. And it was exactly the character. So he had a way of sort of mentally tricking me, giving me the things I needed, and I didn't have to act them. It took me a couple months to realize what he did, but for a couple months I was like, I'm the shit. So I think that kind of mentality of, what? Oh my God, thank you. Yeah, appreciate you. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you guys. Best of, what kind of films are you making? Oh, no way. Oh, sweet. Well, best of luck with it. I hope to see it one day. Yeah, did you go to school or did you guys just... I love it. I love it. I love it. Yeah, yeah. I love that. I think you can go a long way with that. Yeah, best of luck to you. I think, oh, hi. I think, you know, one thing I want to say is, how many artists are in the room? Singers, actors, writers, you know, musicians. You know, it's really important to know that finding what you love to do is a success in itself, and that you should do that as much as you can. I'm fortunate that it pays my bills to do what I love, but I would do it regardless if I had to work another job just to pay my rent so that I could do local theater or whatever. So finding what you love to do is a success, and don't ever let go of it. It's really important. It's part of the thing that will make you the happiest in your life. So good for you guys. Yeah. How much time do we have left?
I was just coming up to say we got about 5 minutes left with Skeet, guys. So.
Okay.
Hi, Skeet. Good to meet you.
Nice to meet you, honey.
Angela Chestnut, 2 S's and 2 T's. I just wanted to say welcome to Sacramento. I know you were here yesterday, but
officially. Welcome to Sacramento. Also, so you worked with a lot of like people like Christopher Walken and Jack Nicholson. Who's giving you some key advice for acting?
You know, I mean, I have worked with some real heavy hitters. And Jack didn't, I mean, I had 10 scenes cut out of As Good as It Gets. So there was I was on that set like 6 months. Are you okay over there? I promise I won't talk much more. But it wasn't necessarily advice to me, but in rehearsals before we started shooting the movie, had a little break between working on stuff, and Jim Brooks, who directed it, was sitting there, and Jack and I and some other people, and Jack said, you know, I've been thinking about playing old, and to me the key is to treat every object in the room as if it's the age you want to be. So if these glasses are 80 years old, I want to be really careful not to disturb them because they may just crumble. And like he looked suddenly 20 years older, and Jim Brooks was like, oh my God, that's brilliant, Jack. Like you have to tell people that. And he, well, then they'd know what I was doing. But what it taught me is that this is a man who thinks about bringing reality to the screen 24/7. 365 days of the year. He is all about it. And so it wasn't necessarily direct advice, but I took a lot from that and try and work in the same details. Thank you. Double S, double T.
What was it like to make Chill Factor?
I could not wait to leave set every day on Chill Factor because Cuba was so funny that my stomach would ache from laughing like by the end of the day. It was a blast. We had a great time. We started in South Carolina, and we brought the entire crew, which is about 100 people, to Utah to continue shooting, and they rented a jumbo jet to take us all there, and we loaded it up with so much beer and all kinds of stuff that they were like, we're overweight. You guys got to take some stuff off. We had a blast making that movie. Yeah, that movie was fun. There's that sequence of fighting on top of the truck on they're uranium roads in Utah in a place called Mexican Hat. And literally it's like a 2,000 drop. There's no guardrail, 2,000-foot drop off the side of that. And I'm chained to this truck for safety reasons. And I'm like, I don't know. If like this truck goes off the road, I don't really want to be tied to it. But it was the only way to really do it, and so they had run a cable across it, and then I had a harness on and a cable that went up inside my pants, and I'm chained to this truck. There's a helicopter 100 feet away filming. You know, there's enough space in the drop for a helicopter to exist out there. That was terrifying, but fun. We did the sequence where, if anybody's seen the movie, where we're in the boat going down the mountain at the end. That was our last day of filming because it was the most dangerous part, and they didn't want to hurt us early. And it was not put together well. It was like the worst roller coaster ride you've ever been on, and Cuba got out of it. It's like, goodbye. And left set, left the film, left town, everything, left. So it was fun, though. It was a blast. Thank you. One last question.
I loved you in Miracles, but I wanted to ask, when you were making Scream, did you or Wes Craven talk about any motivation for why your characters were doing what they were doing? Beyond saying, you know, we had none unofficially in your mind, what's the motivation?
We didn't really talk about it, to be honest. I think he, like most really good directors, trusted us and allowed us to come in. And, you know, a lot of times when you're, and maybe this applies to you guys, when you're filming, like, you know, the writer will get married to what's on the page, and some people just do that. But when you hire really good actors, they will rewrite things in a way that brings character to life that the writer could never do, because it's our job to get inside their head. It's not the director's job necessarily to get inside their head, but it's ours for sure. So a lot of directors do, but the point is he trusted us, and so we didn't have to really talk about like, why is he doing this? Why is he doing that? You know, it just wasn't a part of it, but you know, you come in with ideas, and you know, some of them are gold, some of them are, no, that doesn't feel right, like let's not do that. But I don't remember necessarily talking about motives. All right, yeah?
Guys, unfortunately, that is going to be our time. But man, I got to tell you, I've been doing this for 15 years. This panel, this room, what we just saw got out of you, man, the level of connection, that was really special. Everybody give it up.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much for being here. Happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there.